I hit live on that one before I got live on this one, so you get a 2 seconds head start. How are you doing today? Friday! This is a surprise. Who knows? Maybe this ends up being a really great spot. You never know. My neighbor drives a quad, and I can hear him coming in the driveway, and I was just... Okay, he left again. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was going to show up here, so I was like, wait, I might have to step out for a second and just let him know that, you know, I'm busy, and he needs to continue. I forgot the biggest thing about this. I have to share on TikTok. Hello, so nice to see you on that channel. I was just getting ready to share because sharing is caring. Although you should never be forced to share. Right? You should never be forced to share. How are you? How are you, love? Just doing the sharing part, and the sharing part takes a little bit of concentration, just a little bit. You can only share it to 15 at a time, and then so you have to remember who you shared it to, so you know who you're sharing it to next. It's a bit, you know, it's a process. I think it would have been better that as you shared it to somebody, they just no longer were available to be shared to. It just went off the list. That would make it really easy. Right now, I'm trying to remember who I left with. Yeah, I have to share for sure. I'm going to have lots of viewers, right? Lots of people. How are you doing today? Like, I thought I was looking at someone named June. No, we're just going to pick a spot. We're going to say, this is where I left off, and we're just going to go with it. That's how we're going to do it. I feel I remember them. I'm going to use this as a starting point. We'll just call it. Somebody might get 2 invites. That's all. That's not a big deal. I know who I'm non next this time. Hi, Kev. How are you? Where did you go? There you are. Perfect. We'll be done shortly here. Normally, I go live on... I think I actually did it. You know what? Either one. If you come to here, that's fine. That's fine. I like you on both, but whichever one you'd rather be on. You'll probably want to be on this one because you'll like the energy. I'm like, if I answer from the truth of you, I think that you'd rather be over here than on YouTube. But I appreciate it. Make sure you like the live. Thank you for commenting. I love you. How are you doing? Hi, Michelle. My mom's last name is Johnson. It's her maiden name. Hello, no. Hello, how are you? I've been great. Absolutely great. I don't know, I just keep getting better. That's all it is. It's just layers, right? It's layers of or steps or moments, and you just move in the, you just keep making movements in the right direction, right? So, you know, I've been talking a lot about how, you know, it's about embodiment, right? And really, what we're meant to do is we're meant to experience, we're meant to remember the truth, and then we're meant to embody that truth. And that's what we came here to do. And yeah. Angie, you should see my house right now. Oh my God. Honestly, I wish I could take everybody on a trip, but I could, like, it would be a challenging to, I'd have to unplug my, it would be too much work. But maybe someday I will, I'll do a little video or something like that, and I'll, and show you. When I think about the way that everything unfolded, that's okay. I understand. I get that. When I think about the way that everything unfolded, it feels really miraculous in a lot of ways. So most of you know, when you're moving to a new place, there's usually things that you have to do, right? Usually when you move to a new place, you have to apply, you have to give a credit check, you have to give references, like you have to do all of this big, huge process, right? And because of the way that everything came about, I wasn't in a position to be doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. I had a limited time and a very limited amount of money. And I did not want to live in town. I could not live in, I need someplace which also accepts my dog. Like that was another significant part of the equation, is Cass. So anyway, this guy that he's renting his place, he works in Nunavut, which is a province in northern Canada, for those that are not from Canada or those that are just not aware. So Nunavut, he goes up there as a Red Seal carpenter, and he teaches or he apprentices people underneath of them so that they can get their journeyman certificate, because you can't get your journeyman if you're not training under somebody with a Red Seal. So anyway, that's what he does. And he goes up for 3 months at a time. So he was subletting for 3 months. So I didn't have to do any of all of that stuff. And I just paid the first month's rent. So it was a lot simpler of a process. And then everything that I've needed has shown up. I found a computer chair. That's like someone was giving away a computer chair. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got a little bit of paint on the seat, but I'm not picky. It's a comfortable chair. It has, you know, all the functions that you want in a chair. Since I've been here, I've lived more and more holistically. It's been crazy. I've been interacting with nature and Mother Gaia, and I see things every single day. I see, you know, so many. Today, I'll give you an example of today, and it'll start with a little bit of a heartbreak, but it'll end, like, you'll just see, this is the life that I live. So this is my walk with my dog this morning. So as I was leaving the house, all along the road, like the driveway that comes in, because there's 3 houses that are on the same property. But as I was leaving, there's a bunch of raspberry bushes, and out of the raspberry bushes came these 2 robins, and they were, you know, playing in the air or whatever. And then the one went right out on the road and was hit by a car. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's just horrible. So I followed the car and saw where the robin was. And I went to make sure that if he was injured, that someone intervened and helped the injured bird. But unfortunately he didn't make it. So I removed him from the road and, you know, did a little blessing, and on my way I go. So the few little minutes later, I see a hawk pass by, and I'm like, that's cool. There goes a hawk. And, I'm just enjoying the walk, listening to the sounds, like all the birds in the neighborhood. And I live out in the country. Like there's nothing around me. I live in the country. It's just houses. There's no stores or businesses. The nearest like corner, like kind of the like country restaurant is 3 kilometer walk from here. Or drive, I guess. It's a 3 kilometer trip from here. So I take Cass on his walk down this road, and as I'm walking down the road, I notice in 2 trees, there's all these different kinds of birds, right? Like it'd be normal to see a grouping of blackbirds or, like red-winged blackbirds. They're very common in the area that I'm in. So it'd be nothing to see that. Or, even, you see a few robins together, but you never see like a group of robins like you do with the red-winged blackbirds. Like they definitely travel in a larger pack. But anyway, this tree had like 4 or 5 different birds, like in different breeds of birds. And they weren't like singing or anything. It was very quiet. And they were just staring at me. And I had this feeling like they were just honoring the fact that what I did, right? Like I removed the robin off the road and I said a little blessing for it. And, and so I feel like that was being reciprocated back to me or honored back to me in that way, which was really cool. So anyway, my dog's off doing his thing. Like he walks off leash on the side roads, and he's doing his little thing, and I'm walking ahead of him, and I see up ahead where it's a little bit like shady. The light's dappled is what what it is. It's coming in through the trees. And I see this, what I thought was a doe coming out onto the trail, like onto the path. And so I grab my phone and I zoom in, and I'm like, that's a wolf or a coyote. And, normally a lone wolf, I would say I would call it a coyote, but it looked so healthy because I thought it was a deer. Like that's how big and healthy it was. So we just sat there staring at each other and just sat there staring at each other. And then Cass took notice. He didn't see him and didn't know what he was, but he could smell or like sense something. So he did his ears just went boop, but he didn't have eyes on him yet. And the wolf sensed him like catching, energy. And so the wolf skedaddled. And so we continued on our walk, and I saw evidence of bunnies and evidence of deer. And I saw a bunch of different plants that I've been identifying that are really herbs or medicines. And we went on a really, really long walk. It was beautiful. I ended up finding a stick. I've been wanting to do a event that is all about creating a bear staff. And so I'm going to do it in the guardian pathway probably next month. I think August will be a good month. And we might do it August 8th. August 8th might be a good day on the A8 portal. We'll make the bear staff. Yeah, the medicines, we'll do that. Yeah. I'm going to check in on that to verify the timeline. But anyway, I'll post it soon when it is for the guardian pathway. But anyway, so I found a beautiful stick for that. And I had been looking for one for a while, and boom, there it was, exactly when it needed to be. When I got back home, the yard was in the trees that are all around my yard. There was probably about 8 crows. And so, and I found the tiniest. Oh, where did it go? Where did I put it? I put it in my dish because it's important. So I just have to see if I can reach it. Where did I sit it in the dish? Oh, there it is. There it is. The teeniest, tiniest blue jay feather. Isn't it just the cutest little thing? It's got 2 little teeny tiny blue bands on it that you can just barely see them. I see them better. So this is what I got today. The other day, I found this on my walk, right on my pathway. right there for me to pick up. And I never know how far I'm going to walk. Sometimes I only take Cass and I let him jump in the pond and we come back home. Whenever it's exactly where I'm meant to be at exactly when I'm meant to be there, right? That's what living embodied is like. Well, especially when you live embodied and connected to nature and Mother Gaia, and you realize that, they are sentient. They are beings. Tickling me throat. I love my water. I have great well water here. It's so good. And this is lemon, lime, and salt in the water. So it's really good. So my bear staff, I'll give you 1 sec. I'll be right back and I will show you the bear staff. Okay. I have to show you the top of it. So I love the top of it being like a Y. And it's as tall as me. And it's a little bendy and it's got this little cropping here, which is exactly where I like to put my hand. So it's perfect. And it's made out of pine, so it's light, like it's not super heavy, but you can do lots with it. If I wouldn't smack things with the tip of it, that'd be smart too. So yeah, it's just perfect. Just perfect. I was able to peel the bark off it easily. So I've had like a magical life. I found this. Right? Like, how cool is that? It's like it's a shield. Like, it's just like, I've been very blessed. Yeah. I found that. Hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. Hello, Leroy. Yeah, that's like, I swear the more that you connect to nature and the more that you are present with life and with everything, I think that life just meets you in these magical ways. And it's, it just keeps getting better and better. The more that I remember and the more that I embody the truth and live the way that I'm meant to live, just things just show up. How are you, Leroy? Sorry, I got to get back to being comfy. So that means sitting cross-legged because, it's story time. I don't know what it is, but I like, I think I would like to sit in a circle cross-legged and chat with people and, teach. I think that's how I would teach is sitting cross-legged in a circle. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I'll tell you this. This is how my life is crazy. Okay. So I was, my friend, someone left left a staff leaning against his car. And he shared the picture with me and said, look what somebody left against my car. And I knew from seeing that all this information about it because of the colors, because of symbolisms that were used, the way that it was put together. Like it was just almost like a remembering, right? Almost like a remembering. And so then I researched the bear staff and I decided that that's what I wanted to do, was make a medicine bear staff, or a bear staff, medicine bear staff. Sure. It's the same thing. A bear staff. So I've been on this hunt, and we've talked about it in our groups, and that we were going to do it someday. And when I was living with my mom in the apartment, it really didn't seem like the right space, right, for me to bring home like a big stick like that and have it in an apartment when it's a small space. And so I kind of never really even found the right stick either. It seemed to kind of elude me at that time, and makes sense now. I was waiting for this one all along. And so now we have it. So in the Guardian Pathway, which is the membership group, that's $22.22 per month, so $22.22. In that group, we do a live event once a month, and it's a Guardian style event. So that means that we could be doing field work, we could be doing grid work, we could be doing, I'm trying to think, because I usually remember the Christic Mastery Circles because we've done some pretty big things. Like we've done a karmic dissolution rite that we did for the collective. We've done other big things like that. So we do big events they're more tailored towards like mastery level stuff and working with doing things for the collective and stuff. So that's what's happening in the Christic Mastery Circle. So when I found or when my friend shared that stick with me, and that sent me on this pathway or whatever, that's when I decided I wanted to have that as a part of the Guardian Circle. And we talked about it in the group and determined that that's what we were going to do. And now we're going to do it because we've got a stick. I'm going to put it in the group, all the stuff. I still need to get some other supplies. But by August 8th, I think that's plenty of time for us to do that. And so the way that it works is if you're in the group, you can do it for free. But if you're not part of the group, then you have to pay a fee to take the class. And that's what I'm doing with a lot of my classes now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll post it in the group, and then I'll talk about it in sharing about the kind of like the class or / webinar. It came to me the other day, and it's because I'm going to be doing a class on the 21st. And I know this is not a lot of time, but it'll be for the Guardian Circle. And it's just going to be about time because time has felt like it's been accelerating. And because of that, it's brought me to the decision that I want to do a class on time and frequency and being tired and how to reclaim your energy. So anyway, I'm putting that class together for the 21st. So anyone that's in the Guardian Pathway gets it for free, and anyone that's not has to pay a fee. and I didn't mean to make it rhyme, but I do that all the time. Just like that. I'm sorry. That's my spiciness. That's the way it comes out in song and lyrics and rhyming. Puns. Puns. So what I do here now, I don't know if you saw the change. Did you see the change in the bio, Carol? Did you see if it said, what it said? Hi, Bushwild. Bushwild and I share a lot of same content. If something shared, I'm like, Bushwild shared it. And then I might share it too. You didn't notice? Okay. That's okay. Because the new bio is updated so that it talks about the fact that I'll tell you what it's supposed to say now. It's supposed to say, that's so weird. Oh, that's funny. It's not giving me my updated bio right now for a moment, but it's going to. So it should say Supreme Architect, Christic Guide, founder of Anshara'El, activating the 144,000, sharing divine truth, grid codes, and Ascension keys. You are the flame. You are the prophecy. That's what it says now. Because it was like I realized, so I was going to go live at 3:30, and then I needed to do some just like management stuff. No, they have to approve it. So we'll see if they approve it. I mean, I don't see why not, but then again, you never know what they're going to be, have a block on, what they're going to determine that you shouldn't be talking about that stuff. So you never know. You never know. But I believe that they'll accept it, and it's just going to take probably like 24 hours or something like that, which is fine. Which is fine. It's all fine. So today we're going to be talking about the sword of integration. Walking in truth after the fire is what the episode is called. And we're going to talk a little bit. It's a day late. I apologize for that. My son asked me if I would mind helping him out doing a cleaning job that he had scheduled so that he could go quickly and help his partner who was doing other cleaning jobs, because they were just really overstaffed, or like they had a lot of jobs that day. So they were just really overwhelmed a little bit, and not really overwhelmed. That's not the right word, but nonetheless, he asked if I would help him so he could do this job faster. And by the time I got back from doing the job, I was just hot and I was tired and I was sweaty. And then I had a shower and then I was hungry. And then I was like, I don't feel like going live. I feel like, I've done cleaning today, and that's, that's enough for me for one day. And so I decided, maybe I just needed a couple of hours and I'd feel better in the end. We just have an evening live and it'd just be a surprise that way. But no, I just decided, nope, we'll do it today. So today it is. Yep, today it is. And you have to flow and structure. So there has to be some element of structure. If we just allow ourselves to just free flow all the time without any structure, then certain things wouldn't really progress as well. I mean, they progress, but they progress in a much different way. We need to have both. Flow is the feminine and structure is the masculine energy. And we all have both energies, whether we're male or female. So sometimes you need to be doing something that's very structured, and other times you need to be doing things that's just in the flow. So we're going to talk about the cosmic context before we talk about the main content of today. So the moon is in Aries. It's in the True Sagittarius waning crescent. The fire still glows, but now it turns inward. Aries, the first spark in its waning phase, invites us to tend the embers of sacred courage, not to act impulsively, but to integrate bravery into our own being. This is the moment to sit with your raw truths and distill clarity. The sword still burns, but it now hones precision. Because we had the full moon in True Sagittarius, which is the actual placement of the sun and the moon in the sky and all the other planets where they are currently, right now, the real sky view. That's what it's based on. And so that's how I like to work, is using True Sagittarius, because I just am a proponent of the truth. And to me, it doesn't make any sense to say that the moon is in Sagittarius if it's in fact in Ophiuchus, or if it's in fact in Scorpio, or if it's in fact in Capricorn, right? Like I just want to, if it's in where is it right now? Where is it right now? And is the sun in opposition to the moon? And if it is, then okay, we're at a full moon, right? Like that's, so anyway, True Sagittarius aligns more with me. So I speak with those terms, but I always make sure that everyone's aware that I'm talking about True Sagittarius. So there's no confusion if you're used to, working with tropical astrology or, the seasonal. Less distortions, more truths. Exactly. The more that we align with the truth, the more that the truth gets seeded in the earth, and the more that we assist Gaia in her ascension. And that's what we came for. We answered her call. As a soul, we recognize that, as a soul, we recognize that everybody had, the truth. The truth rings within you with such clarity. You just know it, right? You just know the truth. And you can lie to yourself for sure. Your ego can lie to you. You can allow conditioning to lie to you. But if you're somebody that seeks the truth and is interested in growth, which I feel many of us are, we wouldn't be here, right? When you're those two proponents, then you're constantly seeking what the truth is. And you know what the truth is because it rings like a bell in Tartaria. Absolutely. It rings. So that ringing that we feel, that allows us to continue, that seeking process until we find those truths. When we are ringing in the truth, like I ring in truth, and because I do that, I either ring so much that it makes people go, yeah, nope, and they go away. Like I irritate them very much. The truth will irritate people. So then you get people that want to fight back, right? And the ones that it rings true with, it feels grounded. It feels stable. It doesn't feel rushed or hurried. Even if I talk quickly, which I do, I talk like someone with ADHD. So I do speak fast. But I also have a lot of information that I want to share too. So I'm like, I know I do have a very calming energy and absolutely. Hi, Nikki. How are you doing, sweetie? So I ring that truth, right? And that's what we need to do. Yeah, I think it's so funny. I feel like sometimes I go between like this elevated speaking and then I go to like trash panda. Yes, definitely do. Definitely do. When you're on the website, Nikki, they're on the soul alignment menu item. So on the soul alignment menu item, and it'll be just scroll and it'll say clarity call. I'm going to put a couple changes into the website. I just need to find time, right? We're talking about the sword of truth. Wait, I'm going to wait because it'll take a moment for your comment to be accessible for me to say you're allowed to talk about this. There we go. Oh, I can give you one of those. Yes. What I'll do, star beings, is I'll do that just in a video on its own. I'll record a reel of it and then I'll share it to you so you have access to it. Okay. I'll do it on a print so you can read it yourself and then speak it as well. So you could listen to it silent if you want. Yeah. Okay. Sovereignty and power. I feel the power. I'm writing it down because it's the very, I try, but there's gaps in my, I'm really, really, really smart and I have holes in my brain. It's the curse of ADHD. It's like, what? And those who get it, get it. Swiss cheese. I thought that. I honestly thought Swiss cheese. I thought Swiss cheese for sure. I was like, yep, just like Swiss cheese in one, like just gonzo. So yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah. So very spicy. It's neuro spicy. It accounts for those trash panda moments where I talk like a trucker, or, I think about, I spent most of my life living in, I grew up, my brother would say we were white trash, and I don't like saying it that way. We were poor. We grew up around people that said crazy things. I mean, we were around hillbillies for sure at different points in time. Like, I remember my stepdad's brother, he would drive down the road with one foot out the door of his pickup truck and a gaggle of kids in the back seat and, probably, going to haul some weird thing back to his house and stuff like that, right? Like, Yeah, my brother just like really wants to, look poor. Like he's still in victim mindset. It's okay, and I'm, I mean, maybe not as much, but he's at a different phase in his ascension pathway. Let's be better about the language that we're using. Um, that's where my brother is. He's just at a different stage in his healing journey. So yeah, and you're right. Poor is not the same. So we had that. So I grew up around a lot of people that swore and talked some very colorful language, and I grew up around garages, and I'd have to be the kid pumping the brakes, and so you learn a lot of different things, right? And yeah, it's just about that, having the energetic and stuff to that, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's not a good label. It's a very bad label. It's a very bad label. Like when you think about it, what led to that is the very thing that I've raised myself beyond. And I also encourage people to move beyond. And, it's the way that the world is constructed, in the inverted way that it is currently, because it's been totally hijacked and inverted. So the clown world that we live in, it has some pretty crazy things going on, right? Pretty good inversions, and they sell us some pretty good stories and make us believe certain things, and and act in certain ways that are completely out of alignment with us. And now we're waking up to that truth, and we're starting to bring that truth back to the world. It's not even, it's everything. It's all of it. Like, and I don't, and Trump's just a catalyst, right? There's no energy there at all, if that's what it's orange means. Right. But he's neither nor either. You can look at some people and be absolutely, they're disconnected from their soul, right? They're not disconnected they're disconnected from their oversoul. Right. And that means that they are operating under the anti-Christic ways, or they are evil, right? Evil isn't the absence, or evil isn't the opposition of good, right? Evil is the absence of God, right? It's a different concept altogether. So when somebody becomes so detached and fragmented and disconnected from their soul, that they can allow themselves to participate in things like the sexual abuse of a child, that's when you've lost connection to your soul. That doesn't mean that you're beyond redemption, that you're beyond connecting to your soul and beginning the long process that it takes in a soul, right? It takes a lot to go. You have to do a lot to build yourself back from dropping that far down, right? There's work that you have to do to redeem your soul from that space. And many people are not interested in doing that. They quite content to live the lives that they're living. It's a choice, right? When we talk about the ascension pathway, when we talk about new earth, when we talk about the fact that not everybody is ascending, that's because they've chosen not to. They've had all the opportunity to. Every single person has had the same opportunity to awaken as another person, but they've made the decisions not to. Right? I talked to my friend today, and I'm like, we learn things, and it resonates in our body, and we're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. But then our ego goes, yeah, but it might not be. So I'm just going to continue doing the things that I want to do, because I don't want to actually live in the embodied way, because I like the comfort zone. And I'll use this for example. Putin came out and said that Americans are eating Americans, and they're just not really aware of that. And it's like, but we've seen that in Soylent Green. We've seen it, and people can say it's conspiracy theory. But when you think about it, when you think about McDonald's, when you think about the stuff that's going on in the food industry in the States, when you think about it, does it ring true to you that that's what's going on? Or does it feel like it's false? Does it feel like there's, does it feel false? And when it feels false, right? Like when something feels false, there's usually when it's false, or when it's aligned with, when it's not aligned with the Christic way, or Christ consciousness, when it's not aligned with that in that way, then it's going to feel like there's an urgency, or there's going to be a fear around it, or there's going to be like a confusion, or there's going to be, there's going to be some kind of appropriate feeling to tell you that it's not actually true. But when it rings true, it's not like your heart you're like, you're all scattered, or it's not like you hear the truth and you're like, you might be like, oh my God, I can't believe it's true. But then it almost settles and you're like, but I always knew it was. Like, I knew it. I knew it. Man, I knew it. Right? Like, I knew it. Like, I know settles, right? It settles into your bones because in your bones, right? So you feel it in that way, which is awesome. It's a great thing that we have these abilities within our body to discern those things. We've just lost our connection, and we've stopped actually allowing ourselves the opportunity to listen, right? We numb out, we avoid, we disconnect, right? We don't connect with the earth. Every morning I start my day with my feet on the earth, and it's summertime now, so it's perfect. Like, it'd have to be raining outside for me to not do it. This morning it was very wet outside because we gotten quite a bit of rain yesterday, and then last night we must have gotten some more. So I have a little cushion that I take out when it's wet outside. It's a knee cushion that you use for gardening when you're weeding. So I'll take that out and sit it on the step, and that way there I can still go outside and I get my feet wet. Who cares? I put it on wet grass and I sit there and I listen to the birds and I watch the wind in the trees, and I watch the sun, rise more into the yard, and I see the squirrels jump in and watch that's what I do every morning, drinking my first cup of tea. That's how I have my first cup of tea. I do not go on my phone or on my computer until after I walk Cass in the morning. I get up and I do my decrees, because I say invocations, or I do a decrees every morning. I have a very ritual morning that I do. Love you. You have a beautiful day, sweetheart. You can watch the replay on YouTube, sweetie. Oh, nice. So yeah, I do these things every morning, and those are my rituals, and that's part about living the embodied path, right? So, and I'm going to do the announcements too now before I go ahead. So I'm launching 2 classes right now besides the mini classes that I'm doing, because I have 2 mini classes that I'm going to do in July for the groups. I'm going to have some busy times here, and then I'm launching new classes for August as well. So one opens on August 6th and the other opens on August 9th. Both of them are available right now. And with both of them, there's an application process. Like, there's a little bit of an application process. Because they're frequency based. They're based on vibration and resonance, right? It's, are you aligned with it? Is it aligned with you? And then there's also a scholarship that's attached with it. 444 guys. There's a scholarship that's attached to it, because one of the things that brings the way that we bring the new earth to earth is by doing the things that new earth needs, right? So by moving and living in communities, that's doing something that we're meant to do. We're meant to live in communities. So when we go and live in communities, smaller communities, we're doing what we were meant to do, right? So yay, you're doing what you're meant to do. So that's seeding the truth. That's bringing it to reality. That's embodied living. So the Bridge to Light course that I'm doing is Bridge to Light Phase 2. It's all about the embodied pathway. Sorry, I'm getting an invite and I'm just trying to shut that off. Go away. Let me touch it. Go away. There we go. Decline. Feel my finger. Done. Go away. So it's all about embodiment. So there has to be an application process because it's Phase 2, and some people won't have taken Phase 1. Now, Phase 1 isn't a prerequisite for Phase 2, but Phase 2 will be a prerequisite for Phase 3. I'm I'm pretty sure. And if not, then there'd be the same thing. There'd be an application process. And I don't even know when I'm going to do phase 3. Right now we're at phase 2. So let's just focus on that. But it's, it's living that embodied way. And that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to, to remember the truth and live as such, right? So when you know something, you have to incorporate that. You can't keep lying to yourself about it, right? It's like I said, with the food chain. So the 2 classes that I have, the one that's coming out, the one is, like I said, the Bridge to Light phase 2. So that's about living the embodied way, whereas phase 1 was about the sovereignty path. So you're becoming sovereign within that. So that's dealing with your shadow and your trauma and moving to, oh yes, that's the inversion. That's the inversion for sure. For sure. So the living in the in getting to that sovereign space. So you go through your traumas and your do the shadow work to get to the point of sovereignty. And then in this step, we're moving into embodiment. So you're learning to live the embodied way. The other class that I'm bringing out, which is the one that starts on the 9th, that one is a totally different focus. So I channeled a healing technique, and this is something that we all should remember how to do. That's all it is. This isn't like mine in the sense that it's how we should be healing. It's the way that we should be healing. And I just channeled it. That's all. So anyway, this is called the Christic Elemental Harmonic Resonance System. So the CARES is what I call it. And CARES and so it talks about it in that space, right? Yeah. So the CARES program is, it teaches you to work with the elementals, with sacred geometry, with harmonics as healing tools. And so that you can align with the original divine blueprint, your organic blueprint. So that's the program in a nutshell of what that is. So both of them have early bird specials going on right now, which are showing which one is a significant discount, but there's also bonuses that you get for it. And the bonuses are slightly different depending on the program. But for Bridge to Light phase 2, if you sign up before the 27th of July, you get the gift of Bridge to Light phase 1. And then that way there you can interact with that content, or with all of the recordings that are in there. And there's, a ton of amazing recordings and meditations and activations, and there's guides and journal prompts, and even a fillable journal that coordinates with the entire 12-week, or not, it's not 12 weeks, it's 6 weeks, 12 sessions. So the 12 sessions. And so you get that entirely free for signing up, plus a massive discount. So a lot of reasons to sign up before the 27th. If you have any questions, you can check out the website, and you can always book a call with me. On each of the pages that describes the system, or describes it, they have the ability for you to book a call through the link that's on the page. And I just realized, I'm like, did I make this one? Nope, I didn't. So I just have to do this one little thing. There we go. And push that button. Hi, Miranda. How are you, love? And much love to you, star beings. I don't know if you laughed. I hope not. I hope I got to say that before you laughed. I like to share that back to you. All right. I had to fix something on my site because I forgot I had that page that I was working on hidden, and I need to make sure that it's active. So how are you doing, love? Oh, so I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. So the other thing that I did, I was talking about embodiment, right? And how Bridge to Light phase 2 is all about embodiment. So one of the things that I wanted to do is, we've talked about how the way that we should have things in the future, the way that things would be on Earth, typically, it would be that all of the necessities of life were automatic, right? We would all have access to clean, healthy food, water, air, all of it, right? Like we would be so healthy with that. And we would just trade services or barter, or like there would just be an exchange of energy is what it is. So my scholarship is alluding to that at the bottom of the scholarship. So I'm just going to bring up the page for that so I can just mention what it says there. So just give me 1 second because I didn't pull it up beforehand. Come here. Come here. That one will work. I didn't see it on there again. So the scholarship, on the bottom of the scholarship, it says, would you be open to an energy exchange option or an ambassador opportunity? And I'll talk about the ambassador opportunity tomorrow because I don't want to spend any more time talking about this today because I've already talked a lot about this stuff. But anyway, the exchange option is looking at that bartering thing, because you might be somebody that is really, really awesome at doing, say, YouTube videos. And you could say, you know, like, I'll trade service for service and I'll revamp some of your YouTube videos, or I'll take some of your lives and make smaller content of those lives. And that could be a very valuable service for me. So I might jump at that and say, yeah, let's make a trade in that type of service. And the reason why I'm doing this is because if we don't ever start doing this, then it's never going to be something that's available, right? Somebody has to take the first step in order for things to change. So I'm trying to make that a possibility on my website and within the scholarship program. So when you go to the scholarship, or when you're looking for a scholarship, it does ask if you can afford anything, what can you afford? And if you can't and you need full support, then the next question is, would you be open to an energy exchange option or an ambassador opportunity? So you can say yes, no, maybe. And when you're in that space, you can talk about that. Like, what if you can't afford anything at all, then is there something that you like energetically, because there has to be an energetic exchange. That's what it is. It's not about money. It's about, there has to be an energetic exchange somewhere. And I've done for years, I was working in a people pleasing and in a over generous, over giving way, that if I just give and give and give and give and give, eventually people will buy my stuff because they'll love me and they'll love my stuff and they'll believe in it and they'll use it because it's so good, right? And I knew what I was doing was powerful and I knew that it was worthy and I knew all of that, but I couldn't, for whatever reason, get the finances rolling in the way that they needed to fully support me. And that was really pushed me to become who I am today and in the area that I am. And I understand why now, right? Sometimes the reason why things don't happen for us is because if it happened for us, it would take us off the pathway that we're meant to be on. And, you know, I would be still working, you know, in trauma specifically. I'd be working in trauma if things had have took off there. I wouldn't be working in Ascension. So, you know, I'm glad that things didn't, you know, and I understand why now. So you have to understand why the things didn't happen for you when it happened for you, because then you make peace with it. And then you know that things are going to happen in a specific way. You wrote a pretty good script for yourself and you left yourself lots of little tidbits and little notes and little connections and little keys. And, you know, you guys left yourself a key to come and hang out with me because you knew, or you left yourselves a note to come and hang out with me because you knew I had a key that would open up something within you, whether through what I'm speaking now or something that you're meant to interact with me later, or you're interacting with me, you're called to me because you know we're meant to do something together in a collaboration. There's something that draws us together, right? And, you know, for many people, they get drawn to me because they can feel the resonance of the truth, but just for some, it irritates them and they can't stay. And for others, hi. Hello. Welcome. So yeah, so there's lots of gifts and stuff like that you get for joining either of those classes early. And I do encourage everyone to look at the scholarship, and you know, you never know what I'm going to offer. it's as honestly, it's all about the energetic exchange. That's it. That's where the exchange, where the meat has to be, where we have to connect. Someone was inviting me to co-host, but I don't know you, so I am saying no. Stop it. Let me click on it. Thank you. I want to be able to shut it off for 10 minutes because it's a nice breather. I don't want to join other people's lives, especially people I don't know. I don't think they're wanting to join for battle purposes, and I don't do that anyway. We're here to do some real stuff. Some real stuff. All right. Let's get back to our class, because we were just talking about the moon in Aries and we didn't even get into anything about what we were going to talk about. Like, we're behind the times for sure, but that's okay. It's Friday. Let's have some fun. I think Carol's singing now. So the sun is in Cancer. It entered into Cancer yesterday. Today, like it's the 17th, and according to True Sagittarius, that Cancer enters into the sun enters into Cancer. Sorry. So this is the true gate of the cosmic womb. This is divine mother territory, the temple of emotional sovereignty, authentic voice, and sacred stillness. It asks us to parent our inner fire with grace, not suppression. Mars is squaring in Pluto, and so that means their shadow impulses, egoic flare-ups, and inner aggression may rise as fire meets power. And the invitation is to transmute fire into clarity rather than conflict. Let the sword of integration cut through the confusion. And then we've got Venus, which is conjuncting Regulus exact. This rare and potent alignment now perfects. It commands, lead with love, rule with resonance, embody your truth as a vibrational offering. So pretty powerful energy that we get. And these are the true meanings of the planets, not the distortions that they've done with it, because I've done true astrology. That's just, I try to work with in the Christic truth, or within the, connecting to primes, to source and my oversoul. That's my chains, is my oversoul and source. All right. So the moment asks, can we embody what the fire revealed? Because Sagittarius was the bow of truth, and when it was the full moon, it was asking us to, it was bringing things to light, where spaces where we maybe were lying to ourselves. And it was really trying to give us that nudge to step up to the plate, right? Sagittarius is a risk taker, and Sagittarius is, the lucky sign. It's the person, it's ruled by Jupiter. So it has the element of expansion, right? So that energy was there last week when we had the full moon. And now with it in Aries, it's in that space of us implementing and carrying this forward. So can you embody what the fire revealed? And can your life now carry the frequency of what your voice has spoken? And this is not about continuing the fire. This is about becoming the form that was forged within. So it's about transmuting it, right? We want to use fire how it's meant to be used. And we've been misusing fire, or thinking of fire in different terms. But, the elements are they're sentient beings, and we've lost that, and they've been distorted and hijacked, the same as everything else in inverted clown world, right? It's all just upside down. Let's talk about it. Our core teachings, from revelation to realignment. Many spiritual seekers chase epiphany after epiphany, but revelation without realignment becomes spiritual bypass. You have to embody it. This is the moment to slow down, to sit with the truth that was revealed on the full moon, and ask, where has my behavior caught up with my beliefs? Where is there still dissonance? And what structures must I now build to hold the voice that emerged? And how can my nervous system now regulate around the truth I've anchored? Trust must move from vision to vessel, from fire to form, from idea to embodiment. The sword as a symbol of discernment. The sword of truth is not for slashing others, it's for refining ourselves. In this context, the sword represents discernment between false self and soul, cutting away self-deception, outdated beliefs, illusions, projections, and inherited distortions, holding energetic integrity, the ability to say no, to stand firm, and to walk cleanly. We explore how to use the sword not to fight, but to forge a new embodiment of our sacred voice. By listening first, right? We talked about that, I think, a week or two ago. We were in the listening space. These lives kind of somewhat seem to flow with each other, the information that's covered in them. There's a lot of great information that's in these lives. So if you haven't seen some of them, you can always go back and check out the replays that are available on the YouTube channel. So we must pause and inquire, what new frequency wants to shape my speech? What truth wants to craft my cadence? Then we engage the sword, not to battle, but in crafting a sacred edge, one that slices through distortion and forges resonance, coherence, and clarity. The sword in your hand is only as powerful as the clarity in your heart. I like that. I like that one. I like some of the sayings that I put in. I'm like, I gotta put that on a card. I gotta put that on a post. So that's one I gotta put on a post. Walking the talk, the embodied voice. Your body must now echo your words. This teaching invites us to explore embodied tone tracking. When I speak my truth, where do I feel resonance in my body? Because then you'll know when you're lying to yourself. If you speak something and you feel maybe you're not telling yourself the truth. If you feel like a weight in your stomach or a weight on your shoulders or something, or you feel like some, confusion or dissonance or something, then maybe it's not the truth. Maybe that's your cue that you're speaking something distorted. Somatic awareness, what contracts or opens up when I lie, avoid, or distort, right? Start to pay attention to your body. That's how we become embodied too, right? We have to be paying attention to our body. So pay attention to your body. What are you feeling? Where does it tighten or contract, or where does it expand and open up? There's that, all those feelings you need to be paying attention to. Pay attention to your body when you're in a good space, when you're peaceful and happy and everything's good. Pay attention to how you feel, because that's your benchmark, right? Your benchmark is peace, calm, tranquility, stillness, right? When you're in that present moment, that's your benchmark. So become familiar with the benchmark. So, when you go around somebody and you feel yourself go, ugh, or when somebody speaks to you on your device and they say something, you're going to know that's not the truth. Nope, there's something there. There's something funky going on there. My spidey senses are tingling. Micro alignment, shifting the details of life, sleep, speech choices to honor divine alignment. See, this is me calling myself out. I have to put some notes down here and there that call me out, because I need to get my sleep back on track. Sometimes I'm up until 1:30 in the morning. I shouldn't be staying up like that. That's not good sleep routine. I mean, you can get up in the middle of the night and stay up for a few hours and do some things and then go back to sleep and sleep for a few hours and sleep in a shift like that. That's okay. But you should go to bed it's just the way. You should go to bed at a decent hour. I think I should go to bed at 10, but I'm not ready to go to bed at 10. I'm ready to go to bed at 11, 12, 1. So we'll see about that. But that's embodiment, right? To honor divine alignment. That's listening to the sun, finding out the true alignment. Yep, you get up and you harness the power, the energy of the time. So that's why you'd get up at 3 to 4 and you'd enjoy that time. We need a lot less sleep than we think we do when we clear our trauma and the lies, right? When we're living in truth and we're living in embodiment, we need a lot less sleep. We're a lot more energetic. So the alignments, though, they're also talking about, like I said, following the cycles of the world, like following the cycles of the day. So following the cycle of the moon, the stars, the planets, right? Like following those, following the seasons in the way that we're meant to follow the seasons, honoring your cycles and, divine timing. Like that's the way that we're meant to live. So when we move into those alignments, then, things flow to us in a very natural way. And again, breath and stride as signatures of truth. How you breathe and how you walk tell so much. I was going to say tell a lot. Because it does. It tells a lot, right? How you breathe and how you walk tell the truth of your integration. And I noticed that. I was walking the other day and I was just like, it was a very languid walk, I guess would be the word for it. No rush. Today, like I said, when I went for the walk with Cass and we found all those things, that was just a languid walk. It was very, present in the moment. It was, it was embodied. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And that's what you want to be doing, right? That's allowing you. So if you're feeling your breath being very elevated or very fast, and I talked about this on the other episode, but if you're feeling your breath up here in your chest, then that's telling you you're not present, right? When we start to get present, our breath slows down and it deepens. And if you're seeing it up here, then you have to ask yourself, where am I? Am I in the future or am I in the past or am I volleying between the two, right? Same thing with your stride. And I talked about this all, like same thing, driving is an avatar. Like it's literally an extension of your avatar. And so when you're driving, if you're like going really, really fast, right, you're probably sitting in anxiety. You're probably sitting in the future somewhere. You're like, go, go, go out there. You're not sitting here embodied. And the same thing with your walking pace. And I know, because I was in merge nurse. I had a merge nurse speed. I walked really fast. And, I remember when I was in Costa Rica and I had a friend, she walked really slow, like so slow. In fact, I felt like I was walking backwards to walk with her. And this isn't to say that isn't a little bit true, that she was walking much slower than she needed to go on purpose, just to antagonize me. And at the same time, it showed you that I wasn't as settled in as I needed to be at that time, or it wouldn't have bothered me to just do my walk, just walking a nice, even pace, just strolling, no hurry, no place to be, on divine timing. Everything's going to work out exactly as it should. If I'm meant to make it to the bus on time, walking up there right now, I'm going to make it to the bus on time. I won't miss the bus. I know it'll be there. Whatever, like you're in that divine timing. So the truth you speak must take shape in your breath, your stride, and your presence. So you have to embody the truth. So if you find out that they're feeding you stuff in the food chain and you continue to eat from that food chain, then you're agreeing to do that. That means that you are complicit. You are condoning what they're doing. You are saying it's okay. It's absolutely okay that that's happening because I'm going to ingest it. So if you do not condone that, then you can't do that anymore, right? And that's living an embodied way. But a lot of us will hide ourselves underneath the lie of, we came down here to have a human experience. No, we didn't. A human experience is a distorted experience right now. It's not the divine way that we're meant to live. It's not the way that we're meant to be. So why are we telling ourselves that we should live? Or it's okay, just live like that, right? Just go ahead, live like that, right? Post-fire stillness, right? Sorry, I had to respond to something. A message came up. And I'm on YouTube and on TikTok, so it's a matter of just responding. I can respond here too, but it's okay. Just dropping a link. There. Ha ha ha. Right? So post fire, the art of sacred stillness. This is a big one. True speech follows true silence. Once the fire has burned, the ashes whisper. We are invited to sacred pause, the space between revelation and response. Not much, how are you? Silence as a teacher, listening to the subtle, the in-between, the not yet formed. It has been a while. Stillness as discipline, not rushing to act, but allowing the body and field to integrate. The unknown, trusting the void as creative potential, not something to avoid. The stillness after the flame is where the blueprint of the new voice emerges. That's powerful, right? And it's a thing that we're not used to doing, right? We're not used to being in the stillness. We're not used to being in the silence. We're not used to pausing, right? We're used to go, 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 go. Hi, Abel Hart. We're used to go, 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 do, right? Instead of being present, instead of breathing and being with our breath, right? And yeah, it has been a long time. What have you been up to? We're going to do the embodiment practice next. Okay, we're going to skip into the embodiment practice. So this is the sword becomes form. So this embodiment sequence helps you to anchor discernment, voice, and post-fire integration into the body. So you're going to first start by grounding into the root. You can do this either sitting or standing, and you're just going to breathe deeply into the base of your spine, all the way down there to the root chakra. You're going to feel your body fully connect into the earth. And sometimes it helps to visualize roots growing out from you that are going deep into the earth. You know, they're driving into it. They're connecting with all the other root system, you know, becoming a part of the mycelium network. Sometimes you can experience as the main taproot of your root system going all the way down to the crystalline heart of Mother Gaia. However you want to visualize it, or just feel yourself sinking into the earth and becoming very grounded within her. Now you're just going to say after me, I am anchored in truth. I am rooted in clarity. So now we're going to do some breath work. We're going to do the breath of the blade. So first we're going to start by inhaling deeply, drawing the breath from the earth into the crown. Okay, just into the crown. Exhale through the mouth as if breathing down the edge of a sword, visualizing a golden white light slicing through distortion. Okay, so up the crown, from the earth, out through the sword. And again, up through the crown, up from the root to the crown. Drawing from Mother Gaia. Down the sword, clearing distortion. Okay. Now, with both hands, you're going to put them together and you're going to extend them straight forward. And you're going to hold it at your heart. And speaking, let this blade reveal. Let this blade refine. Let this blade remember. If you're standing and you're able to walk, you can walk while you're doing this with each step, right? Feeling and then speaking this. For those of us that are sitting, visualize in your mind that you're taking steps forward. And as you walk forward, you are going to say with each step, my truth walks, my truth breathes, my truth lives. My truth walks, my truth breathes, my truth lives. My truth walks, my truth breathes, my truth lives. And then we're just going to close by sitting in silence for a moment, just letting the breath settle and letting the silence seek and letting the silence speak. Okay? And just trust what is now forming. All right. So we've got question and answers on this topic, on integration and discernment. So 1, how do I know if I'm integrating or bypassing? It's a good question. If your outer life doesn't shift even slightly, right? Like there can be micro movements, but there's still movement, right? And you know when it's stagnant, stalled, and stuck, then that means that there's something you're not integrating. There's some truth that you're not allowing yourself to be aware of yet. Some way that you're lying to yourself potentially, or some belief system that you're still buying into that is keeping that where it's not shifting, right? For me, even though in the time up until this point, and I've experienced not the level of financial success that I had hoped for, and I have seen changes. I have seen lots of changes in my life and lots of growth and lots of abundance, but the abundance is showing up in different ways. That's all. So it's still abundance that's around me. It's just the way that it's showing up. So there are, like I said, there are changes. It's not completely stagnant. So when you're not seeing any of those movements or any of that shifting, then that can be a very clear sign that you're bypassing. When you're doing the integration, it's going to involve some real world changes, not just energetic highs. Like there's going to be something practical that you're doing, right? Like I changed the whole way that I eat to almost a plant-based. I mean, I eat butter. I use butter in cooking and stuff like that. I make sourdough bread and I put butter on it. I think that, stuff like that. I drink milk. I put milk in some of my tea, not all of my tea, but certain teas I'll put milk in or whatnot. But I also make my own milk too. And I make sauerkraut and I make, so I live the life of the embodiment, right? We're supposed to be eating holistic. We're supposed to be creating our foods at home. We're supposed to be connecting with the earth. We're supposed to be putting our feet on Mother Gaia. We're supposed to be communicating with the elementals. So I do those things because I live embodied. And that's, what I hope that I'm teaching you here is that you have to do it, right? You have to live it. I'm growing a garden. I cultivate herbs and wild medicines from my yard. I make my own bug spray. I grow my own organic microgreens. I make my own fermented juices from organic lemons and limes like organic fruits, oranges, stuff like that. So that's how you do it. You embody it. That's the way that we're supposed to. So is silence always necessary? And what if I feel called to speak? So silence is not about suppression, right? It is a sacred pause that allows your words to carry depth. True speech is born from stillness, right? So it's not about not saying anything. It's just about taking your time to sit in stillness and allow what rises from you to rise without show or artifice or lies or distortion or manipulation, but allow that truth to arise. You say less because you say it more powerfully in fewer words, right? And you're not speaking things into existence that you don't want to speak into existence. And I've been talking to my friends about this. And I said to my mom, I'm like, I don't want to be talking about the things that we don't want to keep seeing in the world, right? I don't want to keep talking about these things. I'd like to talk about the way that we should be living. It sounded like a little knock on my window. I have an ant climbing on my computer. Whoops, there he goes. There he goes. So take the moment to pause, get true with yourself, and then speak from that space and be clear about what you're speaking into form, right? Think about, do I want this to be perpetuated in this way? Do I want to see more of this? Because I'm going to be speaking it into existence by speaking it. And so I'm just going to think cautious. I'm going to think more carefully about what I'm talking about. What if I'm afraid to use my sword? The sword of truth, eh? This fear, or that fear, is often a remnant of old timelines where we were persecuted or punished for speaking the truth. And some of us as children got punished for speaking the truth. How many of us called out uncles or people in our lives for doing shady things with us as children and were told, you're a dirty little liar? That's not what happened. Your uncle would never do that. Your dad would never do that. That person would never behave in that way. You're a liar, right? How many times have you heard that as a small child, or in like I said, persecution and punishment for telling the truth before, right? So we would have those inherent within this lifetime until we clear them, right? And you don't need to use the sword aggressively. The truth doesn't have to be like slicing people open, right? You can use your words very carefully. You can deliver your words in a compassionate way, or just in a very assertive way, not aggressive, not passive aggressive, just that firm with a touch of compassion or kindness to it. And that's how you want to be speaking. You don't need to use the sword aggressively. Just hold it with clarity. The presence of truth is often enough. Like I said before, they can feel it. It resonates in their body. It rings true like a bell. So they know that, right? How do I tell the difference between soul truth and ego opinion? Ego opinions feel reactive, urgent, or righteous. I know better than you. I'm... right? The soul truth feels calm, clear, sometimes even quiet, but it's undeniable. The body will feel relaxed, not tight. Okay? That contraction is a very clear sign. So what if I'm still uncertain what my truth is? Then honor the stillness. The truth may not arrive in language. Sometimes it arrives in knowings, and sometimes it's symbols and it's dreams and it's, other body signals. So stay with the question. What is asking to be honored within me? What is asking to be honored within me? So we've got a journal that is attached to every single one of the lives that we do. And as part of the journal that I do is the invocation. And I like to speak the invocation on the live with everybody here. And then you can go to the Temple of Light, which I'm pretty sure that's where you could go, star beings, to download that power, sovereignty and power. If I did that on the live, then it's definitely in the journal. So we're going to do the Sword of Integration invocation on this live. So you're just going to repeat after me, preferably aloud. But if not allowed, then at least silently inside your own mind. It's a shorter one today. Oversoul, speak through my stillness. Let the fire within me become form. Let this sword cut not from fear, but carve in clarity. I walk in truth. I breathe in presence. I am the voice and the silence. So let it be. So in the journal, besides that invocation, you also get the journal prompts of what truth did the fire reveal to me this month? Where am I still living in contradiction to the truth? What does discernment feel like in my body? How can I walk more cleanly with my truth today? What silence am I being invited into and why? And then you also have a mantra, which is I walk with the sword of truth. I speak from stillness. I live in alignment. And then you have an embodiment seal. So you visualize a flaming sword resting at your heart. Its edge is pure light. It hums in harmony with your breath. And you seal the session by placing your hands over your chest and affirming, the sword is in me, the silence is in me, the truth is alive in me. And that's available for free at the Temple of Light on Anshara'El.com. Itchy ear. Itchy ear. And it's probably going to be there later today because I haven't uploaded it yet. I haven't uploaded it yet. I'm sorry. It's the way that it is. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So do you have any takeaways from today's session? Do you have anything else that you want to talk about? Nope, you guys are all good. You're all good. What plans do you have for Saturday and Sunday? Oh, yeah. So the one session that we're doing in the Christic Mastery Circle is the mini class. It's the Tech Interference Defense. And it's going to be available at some point. I'll give you guys the dates. I feel like it's going to be like the 27th, maybe. We'll see. But I'll give you more details about that as we get closer to it. So that's a planetary defense and tech interference. So it's a Guardian's Guide to Energetic Sovereignty. So that'll be in the one group. And then the other one is the one on time. On time. Yeah, on time. I'm looking for it to see if I can find my document on it. Oh, I think I found it. Yes, so this mini class is the hidden cost of frequency, why you're so tired, and how to reclaim your energy. So that's the other class. So those two classes are going to be this month, between now and the end of the month. So I've got some work to do to get those things uploaded and ready to go and everything, and all the stuff that goes along with those classes ready. So if you're a member of the Christic Mastery Circle, you get both of those classes for free. If you're not part of the Christic Mastery Circle, then there's a fee. Same thing with the Guardian one, which was, I'm going to determine which one of them I'm going to do for the Guardians. I think, because I'm kind of going, I think I'm going to do the frequency one, the hidden cost of frequency for the Guardian pathway. So they'll get it for free, but anyone else that wants to join it will have to join by paying a fee, is what it'll end up being. So yeah. Yeah, but discounts do apply if you're parts of the groups, even for my other stuff that you purchase. Anybody that's in the Ascension pathway gets a 5% discount on any of the classes that they purchase. anyone in the guardian pathway, the oracle chamber, or in the in those two groups, it's a 10% discount. And then in the still waters and in the Christic Mastery Circle, it's a 15% discount on classes and courses, when applicable. I reserve the right to determine when it's applicable. Because there'll be some special offerings that I'll do that I won't apply discounts to. It's just that's just the way that they'll be. But for the most part, if you ask Carol, who's here today, and she'll tell you any day, hands down, that the group is completely worth it because of everything that you receive within the group. And the tiers, like you get everything within the lower tiers. When you're in the Christic Mastery, when you're in the Guardian Pathway, you get it and the Ascension Gateway. So there's more for those. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go then, since we're 5:30 on a Friday and you guys can run away. Do check out Anshara'El.com. It's linked in my bio, and look at the offerings that I have. And if you have any confusion, on the soul alignments tab, there is the clarity call that you can schedule. And I will be making that more accessible on other parts of the pages. And I'm looking at changing the home page and making it a little easier to navigate, because I've been told before that my site is overwhelming. There's a lot available, so it can get confusing. So the best thing to do is just to book a call, and then I can walk you through whatever you have questions about, and also guide you in what I would suggest for services for you. But that being said, I'm going to go and enjoy my Friday evening, because I've got lots and lots of work to do in a beautiful yard that I very much would love to spend more time in. But I set myself up with a working girl summer instead of a laid back girl summer, and that's okay. That's okay. So look to those things, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. And I have no idea what I'm doing on Tuesday yet. I'm going to be planning content this weekend, so I'll know this weekend what I'm doing. But yeah, go check those things out. And if you have any questions, book a clarity call and we can talk about it. And otherwise, have a great weekend. Love you guys. Apparently there's music at the end of that.